Hey, how's it going, guys? We got recent reads tonight. We got pickups as usual. We got a lot of unboxings. And plus, where have I been? Right after this. Hey, how's it going, guys? Carson back here with another big comic haul. I'm not even going to attempt to show everything that I have purchased over the last 10 months. I think it's been since I made my last video. Basically, I just decided to take a little bit of break from YouTube. There wasn't a lot I had been reading. Actually, I think I only have 2 reads to talk about tonight. So we're subtly getting back into everything because I got a ton I need to read and not much time to do so. But there are a couple of reads that I wanted to go live and talk about. And of course, I'm still buying books, so why not? I have a forum to show the books, so I may as well show them to you guys because I know most people watching these may appreciate them. And then, so yeah, I was just like, I had just for some reason, win this morning to make a video, so I re-up StreamYard, got back on my channel, and had to remember how to use everything. So bear with me tonight. Hopefully, at least people stop by, say hi, and we have a good time. We already got the Great Legend Show in the chat. You got to remember, there we go. Remember how to get there slowly but surely. He says, Great Legend Show gives Seawood Andre bear hug. Yeah, that's one thing we haven't fell off of. We're still playing a lot of WWE 2K over on the Xbox. We played last night. There were plenty of Andre bear hugs, that's for sure. We got Puff Comics. What's going on, man? He says, Sup, Seawood, Great Legend Show. Had the pleasure of meeting Puff Comics 83 when I did make a trip down to Florida last September. So I always shout out to Puff Comics. Definitely one of the best in the community for sure. All right. We'll go ahead. We'll get to some gimmicks here. Actually, I got to bring my gimmicks up and get to the reads. Here we go. All right. So I had 2 books I wanted to go live and talk about before I get in unboxings and hauls and all that stuff. Because I actually enjoyed a couple Marvel comics. Who would have thought? I feel like it's been a while since I opened up a recent Marvel comic, if you will, and enjoyed it. So the first one I had to pick up and read was the Ultimate Spider-Man reboot, whatever this is going to be called. There's actually a previous Ultimate book. I can't remember the name of it. Someone may put it in the chat or the comments eventually. But when I heard Jonathan Hickman and Marco Cacchetto were going to be writing and drawing this, I thought that was at least a really cool creative team for any book. So I'm like, I'll check it out because, I feel like there's been soft reboots of the Ultimate line in the past. Of course, this is a harder reboot, of course. So I definitely wanted to see what was going on here. So if you guys were expecting to pick this book up and see like a crazy action-filled Spider-Man good time, you're not really going to get that with this first issue, but instead you kind of get an adult version of Peter who seems to be pretty stable in his life and all that stuff. I don't want to go into too many spoilers just because I know this book is a little bit harder to find for a few people, and they might be waiting for trades, digital, what have you. But basically, we have to see an adult version of Peter with kids, with no Aunt May, get his powers like in his mid-30s, basically. So it kind of turns the dynamic on its head a little bit. And I'm just happy this book came out because I feel like recently just noticing market trends and that stuff, it's all about covers, facsimiles, what's going on in the movies. And this book kind of proves like, hey, there's still people out there who care about good writing and decent art inside a comic instead of, the first appearance and what's on the outside of the book. So I recommend this. I got issue 2 on my pull list. So hopefully it's as enjoyable as the first one. Had to get the J. Scott Campbell cover on it because, hey, I still kind of care about the outside of the cover too, of course. And then I read this Wolverine issue number 41, Sabretooth War. I think I just originally picked this up for the Greg Capullo cover because I do like me some Greg Capullo. But then I started reading about what actually happens in this comic. I'm just like, huh? So I actually opened it up and I really enjoyed this comic, actually. It's just Sabretooth is basically celebrating Logan's birthday in the one way he can, and that's just dismemberment, lots of blood and guts. So this book is not for everybody. It is plugged as the most violent Wolverine versus Sabretooth fight ever. And so far, issue 1 lives up to that hype. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be on for, I think it's supposed to be 12 issues of this mayhem. So maybe I'll just get the first few, then wait for the hardcover, or trade down the line, because $6, I don't want to pay $6 times 12 to read this whole thing, because these things aren't getting any cheaper. But I did enjoy this first issue. It was very, very enjoyable, to say the least, especially if you like just, action and violence. So these two kind of counteract each other in terms of, my reading in the last week, I suppose. So, fun build up to see, very curious to where this is going, and then just all out action where people are losing heads and limbs and, well, everything. So definitely enjoyed those 2 reads, and definitely want to let you guys know about those. So let's get into the chat here before we go into our first haul. I got to scroll up a little bit. We got my first subscriber ever, Fish Tropic. What is going on, man? Always happy to see Fish Tropic in the chats. We got Come On Mama. What is going on? Happy to see Come On Mama in the chat as well. Thank you, Fish Tropic. He says, smash that like button. Looks like everybody's just hanging out, saying hi to each other. Fish Tropic loves those covers as well. All right, so we'll go ahead and get into our first haul here. I think I only brought a few. Like I said, I think I brought a haul, and then like just a little bit of another one, and then some greatest hits I've bought in, I think, over the last 10 months, basically. So we'll go ahead and start showing some of them. We'll get back to the chat, show a little bit more. Basically, my comic shop about 2 weeks ago, maybe it was last week. Time flies, right? They had a 75% off sale. They wanted to clear off a bunch of inventory, and I was more than happy to help them, cash in that 75% off. I think there was a gimmick, like you had to buy 10 of each type of thing. So there were like sets, wall books, miscellaneous vintage stuff, which that's, of course, where I kind of lumped everything together into that category. So we'll just start with the kind of the moderns. I think I'll go from modern to Bronze Age. So I got a bunch of these Spider-Mans, the John Michael Straczynski run. I always like the J. Scott Campbell cover on these as well. I have a good chunk of this run already, but I think these are, my run is from when I first started collecting. They're not in the greatest. They have spine ticks on them. I do have a few signatures, so I won't be getting rid of all of them, but I figured these would be nice condition upgrades for, I think I paid like either $2 or $1.50 for most of these. So there's issue 50, and I apologize, I didn't really put these in order too well before we started. There's 35, 34, and I do remember when I first started collecting in, besides the Ultimate Spider-Man stuff with Bendis and Bagley, this was the other run that was kind of coming out along with, I actually think they ran pretty close together. So like 31, for instance, I think over on the Ultimate side, they're entering Ultimate Spider-Man number 33, which was, 31 versus 33. So they started pretty close together. And then we got some Strange Tales. I may already have this laying around somewhere, but it was $5 to start with, so it left it at about $1.25 for, Doctor Strange, Strange Tales. Yeah, I definitely had to get that. I thought this cover was cool, $1.25 on this Moon Knight. So Moon Knight's almost becoming one of those characters. If I see the older stuff, I just pick it up if it's, around the $1 or $2. So this was $1.25. Thought that looked awesome, so I picked it up. I got these Jim Lee covers for less than $1. So we got the Punisher War Journals, which I think I already had this one in my collection because I got a whole bunch. You can't see it, it's off camera, but there's a whole bunch of sorting going on over here. And I think this was also in a pile over there. Special shout out, what is going on? Gore Vidal, he says, good to see you back. Great Legend, Happy New Year. Great to see you here, Puff Comics. Good evening. Yeah, definitely keep talking in the chat. Glad you guys are here having a good time. I am trying to fill a lot of holes in my Daredevil run, so I was very happy that these were part of the 75% off sale. We got Daredevil 120, paid about $2.50 for that. So I don't really know how far I'm going to go with my Daredevil run collecting, because I do have a good chunk of the Volume 1 run. But yeah, there's there's obviously a lot of Daredevil out there, and to try to collect them all, I'm not sure if that's an endeavor I want to go after. So I thought about maybe I'll just at least go from the start all the way through, the gist of the Frank Miller stuff. But yeah, I had a lot of holes to fill in this sub 100 spot. So luckily, like I said, $2, $2.50 for a lot of these that I was missing out of the collection. And then I got to stop to say a special shout out to Chris Barrett. What is going on, Chris Barrett? Always happy to see Chris Barrett in the chats. It wouldn't be the same without him. So definitely huge shout out to Chris Barrett. Just saying if there's anything else I'm missing. We got Great Legend says, cooking burgers tonight. God bless you all. Jesus is coming back as body of Christ soon. Amen. Thank you so much, Legend. I hope you enjoy a nice, tasty burger tonight. We go a little bit older with the Daredevils. We got Daredevil 57. Was $15, but I got 75% off. Here's a fun one. This is issue 48, and I think Chris Barrett hopped in just in time for this. I know he'll enjoy this. Apparently, this issue is famous for the bottom of the cover where there's supposed to be some sort of banner running along whatever's going on there, and then the letters just coincidentally happen to say ass pain instead of whatever was down here, and then they cropped the cover for the actual comic. So very much enjoyed that copy and finding that for 75% off. Got issue number 31 as well. And mostly, yeah, I wasn't even going to get that much, but then I started making sure I had 10 copies of stuff so I could get my Daredevils for 75% off. I would have felt like an idiot if I left an X-Men there, even though it is a reprint, but hey, well, you got to take X-Men where you can get it when it's this age. So I got an X-Men 85. Silver Surfer comic Moon Knight earlier. If I can get the old 15-cent stuff, I'm going to grab it every time. I got an issue 13. Got a copy of Thor 189. It was $4. Thought that was awesome looking cover, so I picked it up. Doctor Strange 172. It's $2.50. Once again, I would have felt dumb leaving this. Also trying to fill up my Justice League stuff from the Silver Age. Then issue 39. Like another little pile here. And we got issue 58 of Enemy Ace Showcase. So starting to get some of these, not so sought after showcases. I was actually going over through the collection earlier and starting to fill up a good chunk of the non-key showcase. So I'm seeking those out as well. Back to some modern stuff. We got the New Avengers #1 Spider-Man variant. I actually missed out on this a long time ago when I was collecting New Avengers for the first time, or Avengers for the first time. It became New Avengers. I have the A cover. It's somewhere up there, double signed, triple signed, I think. But I finally, after 20 years of collecting, found this for like $5. So happy for that. Shout out to Catrin Figure. She recommended this one shot to me because it's got some great creators on it. The Pro #1. So I got a Pro #1 for like $5. And then I think this was the last one I got a percentage off of, was the DC Comics Presents 27 first appearance of Mongol. My most expensive comic of the day for $6 and change, basically. So happy with that. One of those books I didn't really want to overpay too much for, but I did want the collection because when I started reading, it was Death of Superman. Mongol was one of the key characters. So I've been looking for the first Mongol for quite a while. All right, let's get into the chat. We'll show a couple more things, and then we're going to get into some unboxings because I am actually, we'll do the unboxings first, and then we'll do the greatest hits and that stuff. All right, let's see. Gore Vidal says, Daredevil Born Again Gallery Edition came out today. I just got my copy. Beautiful book. That sounds like an amazing book. I'll definitely have to look into that. I've never really gotten any of the gallery editions. Probably the fanciest hardcovers, I guess you would say, would probably be a lot of the DC Absolute editions, but I know those gallery editions are even bigger and badder than those. So I may have to get one or two of those down the line for sure. I see them online and I'm very jealous of them. Chris Barrett says, hemorrhoids suck. No one likes ass pain. That's definitely true. We got Mr. Gretzky in the chat. What is going on, Gretzky? He says, you're going to C2E2 this year? I have bought my ticket, so I mean to go to C2E2 unless there's a huge schedule conflict. I definitely plan to be there. All right, and then just a couple other things I picked up that were just happened to be in the stack. I did not get a discount on this, but I still wanted to pick this up for $5. It is the Spectacular Spider-Man 132, final part of Kraven's Last Hunt. I think I have all of these now. Hopefully, I might be missing part 5, but I definitely needed part 6, so I was happy to pay $5 for that. It's a shame Great Legend left already. I'm sure he'll come back, but I wanted to show him this. This like a flying Captain Marvel that I found at an antique shop. And I guess it's like basically it's a giant envelope, and all this stuff is inside the envelope. It is copyright 1944. I think I only paid like $10 for this thing. So that was a really cool find just for, it was about the only comic related thing inside the whole antique shop. So Flying Captain Marvel. So I thought that was a lot of fun. In the same antique shop, found this for about $8. But people love this one. Alien Worlds #4. Classic Dave Stevens cover. Oh, Legend's still there. He's still hanging out. He says, those are classic, but don't open. It flies like poop. Thanks for the feedback. Yeah, I think they actually had one more there, but I didn't want to be the hoarder. I already hoard enough as it is, but I'm like, I'll just get one for the collection. It looks cool. So that, and then I think the last thing in the stack is what I bought this week. So I found this Legend of Zelda #1, one of the Valiant comics. It was $10. Luckily, I had a $10 coupon to burn up. So got a Legend of Zelda. I got the Mario issue 1 somewhere. It even has a Hills sticker on the corner from when I bought it as a kid, from Hills. So never had the Legend of Zelda one, but happy that just all I hear when I see his face, like it's drawn this was, excuse me, princess. So gotta love it. All right, let's get this stuff cleaned up and out of the way. And then we're going to open some packages here. Gretzky says he's going to C2E2. Oh, I hope to see you there, man. I haven't had a chance to meet up in real life yet, or I guess whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that's awesome. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to meet at C2E2. All right, so the first one, just in this nice mailer. I actually pre-opened some of these packages so you don't have to see me bumble around. So I know it's always a great indicator, when that's all the protection that's on the inside of the envelope. So I'm glad I didn't cut through it, or it doesn't look like it got too bent. But yeah, that's. that's all the cardboard I got, and I think I got a worse one coming up. So luckily there wasn't too much in this package. I think I got a nice deal on these books though for what they are. Let me trim this tape. And actually, funny thing is, as crappy as that packaging is, they are in Mylars. So at least they kind of tried, right? I guess they at least had Mylars. So let's see what we got here. We got some more Moon Knights. Like I said earlier, when I get some Moon Knights, I definitely want to pick up some of the older issues. Take it easy, Puff. Hope to see you next time. Chris Barrett says, whoa, big spender. So it looks like I got Moon Knight 51, but they didn't want to waste all their Mylars because they put 2 books in one bag. There is issue number 52. And then the main reason I wanted to buy them is because it did come with a couple of the Stephen Platt covers, which I think I already actually own this one, so I'll probably have to sell off the other one that's not as a great condition. So we got an issue 59, and I think I only paid maybe $20 for this whole lot, but the main book I wanted out of the slot, and it actually looks like it is really nice condition, was this one, because this one usually costs a pretty penny. So that's the Moon Knight number 57, just because it looks very, it even says after Todd on the bottom. So it looks very McFarlane-esque, so therefore it usually comes with a premium on this one. So I was extremely happy to not break the bank getting a copy of this. It will definitely have to go in its own Mylar, that's for sure, but I am very happy the book is not destroyed considering it was shipped with next to no protection. So a lot of fun there. All right, let's see what we got. We got a priority package here, so at least we got a nice, well-shipped priority box, hopefully. But let's see what we got in it. I'm going to try not to throw my trash too much everywhere. Sorry, earphone wearers. Okay, good. Now I got a trash can there to use. All right, so far, not too bad. Oh, geez. And, of course, we got, like, the Saran Wrap special here, so let me get my knife out and cut through this. Yeah, the good old kitchen Saran Wrap. Woo. This is good air, I'm sure. All right, we're hacking away, trying to speed it up a little bit. I believe this is going to be a little run of Vigilante that I purchased. It's one of those ones I'm just like, I don't really want to break the bank because most of these can be found in dollar bins and such. So I kind of sent an offer. I don't even remember what it is off the... Sorry, sound. Okay, let's just get that out of here. I don't remember exactly what the offer was, but the first disappointment is I'm going to have to bag and board each and every one of these. So that's, it is what it is. It looks like they at least are in good condition, but that's just a lot of time bagging and boarding right there. So I probably won't show a ton of these just because we'll be here all night. And, you know, I do have a lot of sorting to do, apparently, it appears, and bagging and boarding. But yeah, it looks like there's a good chunk of the run here. So obviously there's issue 1. I think it at least goes through the first 10 or 12 issues and it has holes in it. But, you know, it's one of those runs that it's like so many good writers on it that I definitely wanted to check it out. Like Marv Wolfman does a really good chunk of this run because, you know, the Titan or the character came from the Teen Titans run that him and George Perez were doing. So I definitely kind of wanted to see what he had to bring. And actually, I was very happy to see that in this run, both Alan Moore issues are in there. So I didn't even really realize until about a month or so ago that Alan Moore did work on Vigilante. So I definitely, at least, if I don't read anything else in this box, I at least want to read these 2 issues. And then, I mean, there's just other, like Paul Cooperberg wrote a bunch of it too. So I definitely wanted to make sure I read this at some point because I'd always I see it in dollar bins and I'm like, should I collect it? Should I not? And I finally just got a good deal on this. And then probably the other major issue in here is I believe this is the first time him and Peacemaker meet. So this book kind of blew up after the TV show. Whatever. So I hope it's a good read. We'll see. I just apparently got a lot of bagging and boarding to do there. All right. So far, not too bad. Comics aren't destroyed, so that's great. Next package. So that got 3 of 4 coming up. So at least they got a little bit of protection there. And then, hey, at least it's not wrapped in like the kitchen saran wrap, which, hey, we can reuse this. So that's great. I got this lot. Like, I might have paid like $1 to actually, I think I paid like $2, maybe $3 a book by the time shipping came in, because I did have to pay for the these things aren't cheap to get shipped. It's priority mail. So that pretty much doubled the price of the total lot. Let's see what Chris Barrett was saying here. He says, don't feel bad. I've fallen asleep on the hunt 2 out of my last 4 appearances. But basically the main reason I wanted to get this lot is it actually has, it's almost all signed comics. So here is Ninja Turtles Adventures number 5. It is signed by Kevin Eastman, and they actually have, I don't even know who certified this. I guess Torpedo Comics is as big as the entire backing board. But they do come with COAs, so I thought that was awesome. We got issue 42, which is kind of cool because you're starting to get into that mid to late run of the Adventurers line. Once again, signed down there by Kevin Eastman. And if you guys have been paying attention to the con scene at all, these signatures aren't getting any cheaper. They just keep going up and up. So, like, I'm trying to think of how much Kevin Eastman charged at C2E2 last year. It might have been like 30 or 40 bucks. So, like, if I can get a Kevin Eastman signature, being a turtle collector for, like, you know, sub $3, yeah, I'll go ahead and grab that. Why not? So I think those are the main 3 reasons I bought it there, just to get the Kevin Eastman signatures. But that's not all. We actually got Noctera issue 5 signed by Tony Daniel. I believe this is a Roy Thomas signed comic, Elric, The Vanishing Tower. Never heard of this one, but if you know anything about my channel at all, I do love me some signatures. So there it is right there. The Fix, signed by Nick Spencer. Once again, haven't heard of this book, but I have met Nick Spencer. He's a pretty cool dude. John Dole, I don't even know who signed this one, but it's got a signature. Dolmayan, John Dolmayan. Okay, haven't heard of him. Cover looks cool, I guess. This one wasn't even put in a bag or board, but it's signed by somebody. Some Vault comic, I guess. I don't know. I'll have to do my research on that. And then it looks like we have Revival number 3 signed by Tim Seeley. Now, Tim Seeley's awesome. I do know that guy. I've seen him at C2E2. I think he's been there every single year. Really awesome. At least another cool book. But maybe the Vault one day we'll open that up and it'll be awesome. All right. And I think we got one more package. Just taking the random peek inside the package. I think this might have been the worst packed one. Give me a second to get some trash sorted around here. While I do that, I do want to say hi to Perry Comics. What is going on, Perry? How you doing, man? All right. We got the great old Amazon box for this one. I don't even know what paper. We'll try to give you a peek inside what to expect here. This is I did not alter the inside contents yet, so this is what it looks like inside. So at least oh no, they're not packed individually. They're just in some very old bags, no boards. And then this was just probably doing more harm than good. So, all right, we'll get into that books. But there's a question in the chat I want to get to. Gord Vidal says, any thoughts about Jason Aaron taking over TMNT? Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for Jason Aaron. I hope it's good. Obviously, I mean, as soon as the news broke, I was very excited because I feel like recent TMNT issues, like there's a reason I wasn't talking about it earlier. I kind of fell off of reading the current stuff just because it was so convoluted with the Armageddon game stuff that was coming out. Pretty much they had like the mainline title involved in the crossover, and then they had like the Armageddon game. It went like 8 or 9 issues or something on top of that. And then they had another one called Opening Moves on top of that. There was like another 6 to 8 issues. So read the whole thing. It was almost like 2.5 hardcovers worth of story, and it was just all over the place. Like they pretty much had multiple mutants in New York. Basically they need to slim it down a little bit and make it a little bit more readable. So I'm kind of glad after 150 they're doing a little soft reboot. I'm just glad they're not doing a hard reboot because I've really enjoyed the IDW run overall. I think it is, Kevin Eastman told me himself, it's his favorite and best run of Ninja Turtles in comic form. So I'd hate to see them go away from that, but I am excited they're doing a little bit of a soft reboot starting with issue 1. It looks like some really cool art. Even though I hope Gavin Smith isn't kind of thrown toward the wayside because I do like his art as well. So hopefully we'll get to see him come back to Turtles at some point, but it sounds like they're going in a completely different direction artist-wise as well. I think the first 4 issues each have like a big name artist on each of the issues. So they're trying cool things with it. So I'm very excited to see what's going to happen there. Scott Evans, what's going on, man? Nice seeing Chet tonight. He says, pretty sure I'm holding things down at shop and not at C2E2. Love C2E2. I take the train out of Ann Arbor. Easy peasy. That's awesome, man. Maybe you'll see him. Maybe you won't. But yeah, I just hope they get a few more things announced for C2E2. They started at least coming out with a few creators as of today, actually. I think Chip Zdarsky is going to make a return. Jorge Jimenez, I'm excited to meet those two at least. Scott Evans also states that he is excited for Jason Aaron TMNT. So that is awesome. Let's go ahead and it's been so long since I've got this package on my porch. I barely remember what was in it. Some of these I think I wanted to get condition upgrades because they're all Uncanny X-Men, which you can never really go wrong with purchasing some Uncanny X-Men, but I may have a good chunk of this run, if I remember right, is one of those like, here's a rando best offer, and then they accepted the low ball offer, I guess. So I didn't break the bank here once again, but yeah, once again, I am going to have to do some rebagging and boarding, but at least I guess I should feel thankful they're in something. So there's 209. Like I said, I think I have nearly everything in this package. But I will say this, at least they do look pretty good quality for apparently only being stored in these bags all these years. Like I'm just looking at the back of them. It's nice and bright and white. Obviously, there's that little bit of spine roll, which that's why we got that guy back there to help out with that. If I remember right, there should have been a couple keys in here, which I think I just saw one coming up. There's 243. Before I show the key, I do want to say hi to Joker68. What is going on, man? Nice to see you in the chat. Hopefully all is well with you. Thanks for stopping by. That key, the main reason I wanted to get this, and so far I think this is actually an upgrade for me, is the X-Men 244 first appearance of Jubilee. And hey, we still got some old gimmicks saved up. What does that look like? I don't know where the Great Legend went, but anyway. Newsstand. Yep, it's a newsstand, so happy with that one. Actually, I think most of these might be newsstands. Awesome. We got X-Men 245. Sorry, they're also kind of stuck together as old bags will. 244. So yeah, I got a lot of resorting to do. Got to go through the old collection again. Here's the first Jim Lee on X-Men in a new stand, so that's awesome. All right, we're just going to pick up a little handful here because I'm having to peel them off of each other. So at least it looks like the lackadaisical shipping didn't really have too much an effect on the books. They this way instead of, crunching the spine. So that's good. We got 252, 253. Actually, when I had the Marvel Unlimited app, I was doing some, I started the Chris Claremont run. I think I made it till about 110, and I hope to get back on that eventually. I just need to re-up Unlimited at some point, but I was having a lot of fun reading that for the first time, and I was hoping to, eventually blow through into this part of the run as well. Because, if you couldn't tell, I do like me some Jim Lee, some Mark Silvestri, and of course the classic artists on the book as well. Definitely like them all. And I'll try to go kind of fast because, well, most of us probably know what these books look like. There should have been one more big key. It's coming up, and actually it might be. I'm hoping it's my best condition because so far, just quick glance, all of these are in pretty decent condition for not having boards. Of course, it's got a. We might be able to do a little press on that, but it's probably going to be color breaking throughout on that. Of course, you could probably guess the book I was about to show. First appearance of Gambit, 266. So I've been very lucky getting copies of this book lately, but they're always just so beat up. Like I think the one I actually sent the grading only came back like a 5 or 6.5, somewhere in that range. So I don't know if this one would fare too much better just because it had to be that one that had this action going on. So that would ding it obviously a little bit, but we're going to set that to the side. Special. Of course, you got to have the second/third Gambit, whatever you want to rank it. And then it kind of just about done with the box. So there's a couple more. At least they're all like mostly, yeah, I think they're all newsstands on top of it. So not that matters a ton on especially the earlier ones because you're almost talking a 50-50 split between direct and newsstand. So overall, pretty happy with that box. I just got to remember when I'm done with this video not to trip over all this stuff down here. All right, so we're going to conclude tonight's stuff after I take a sip of water with some greatest hits. All right. So, like I said, I am unfortunately very disorganized. And plus, if I tried to dig out like everything I bought and wanted to highlight, we'd probably be here all day. So I've just randomly amassed a stack of comics just to kind of show you what I've been collecting over the last 10 plus months, basically. All right. So I did get a Golden Age lot of comics in the mail about a month or so ago, probably before Christmas. And there was some pretty good stuff in there. I picked 3 items to highlight out of that because I still got to process all that a lot. And I'm going to have to do it outside in the spring because they got that must. Too musty. I don't want to make this room even any more musty than it could be with all this paper and stuff in here. So I got this Tim Holt 17, a very early Ghost Rider, and also a really cool Frank Frazetta cover on that one. So I don't own too much Golden Age whatsoever. So to have like a very early Golden Age, it was like even, pre-superhero Marvel, I thought that was awesome. And then I always, like, one of my collecting goals eventually is just to start getting some of that Golden Age Superman, maybe Batman, but that's those aren't cheap, obviously. So I at least got a Superman issue 76. I think this was from 1951, if I remember right. It's pre-code, of course. It does have a page ripped out, but it was still included in the book, luckily. It does have chipping on stuff, so it's not near perfect. It'd probably be like a 1 or 1.5. If I did decide to get this slabbed, which I'm probably just going to leave it loose. But yeah, anytime I can get Golden Age Superman, I'm going to bite every time. And then it also had an Adventure Comics thrown in here, 167, from around the same time period, like 51, 52. And I don't know if someone tried to trim the top of this to restore it a little bit, or if it's just the way the book was printed, because it looks like the bottom of the book is sticking out, but that's actually just more of the cover. So it might have just been some weird old cropping on the cover, but nonetheless, still happy to have that. I did get a lot of G.I. Joe comics several months ago. The main reason I wanted that lot is I needed this book for my collection. So I was starting to actually sell off some of my G.I. Joes just because like there's no way I'm ever going to complete this. These like later ones are just getting ridiculous to try to find. And like I sold several of them off. And the next thing I know, saw this on eBay. Now it's not near perfect. This is mid-grade at best, especially if you start looking at the back. It does present well, at least. But yeah, I got a whole bunch of other ones that are very beat up in price. Going to have to like either give away dollar or something or other to get rid of a lot of them. But at least I got a 155, and I didn't have to pay like $155 or more for it because things just keep going up. Some of them do. Next up, I found this in an antique shop. I think I paid $5 or $6. And I did post this on my Instagram, so don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Link should be down below if you guys haven't had a chance to do so already. We got Marvel Premiere 28, Legion of Monsters. So I actually found this right around Halloween time as well. So very timely find on that. And it is not completely destroyed and beat up. But for $6, I probably would have bought it completely destroyed and beat up. So I was really happy with that. Got this in a Swamp Thing lot not too long ago. Got another copy of Swamp Thing 37, first appearance of John Constantine. I think I don't know if I got the other one on a newsstand. I'll have to double check that. If I have a direct and a newsstand, that would be awesome. Trying to think of where I got this one. I keep kind of like First Gambit. I keep stumbling into copies of first appearance of Mr. Sinister as well, issue 221. Newsstand copy on that. This one is not perfect though, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that one. I was thinking I had this in a newsstand, but I guess I'll have to do my other joke I had lined up here. It's just a direct edition. We got Web of Spider-Man 118, first Scarlet Spider. I kind of wanted this because, you know, when I first started reading in the 90s, unfortunately, the first Spider-Man comic I ever picked up, I believe, was either The Death of Aunt May or Maximum Clonage Alpha, whatever it was. So I do have a tiny bit of fondness for that, but, you know, looking back, I do realize how bad it was. But I always at least wanted this issue here, Web Spider-Man 118. And it keeps going, it keeps heating up too. So luckily, didn't have to break the bank on that. Got some nice Bronze Age, actually technically Silver Age as well. DC stuff. So I got Spectre issue #1. Really happy to get this. This is the type of stuff I kind of really want to get in the collection before, you know, just in case the James Gunn DC stuff blows everything up. I do want to, you know, start to get that like late silver, early bronze section of DC filled up in my collection. So I was happy to get that. Same thing here, Mr. Miracle #1. You know, I'm not a big like spec book guy, but if I was, I'd be like, just, you probably want to get this now just in case. But yeah, I'm trying to get all of the Kirby issues. I think I'm just missing the first Barda now with the purchase of this one. So really happy to have that. Here's a current one. This was like a Wolverine #1, I think. As sold at a Mexican convention, I guess. I got it on Whatnot. I think that Spider-Man booth was selling these. But I missed out on getting the original version of this, which was a C2E2 exclusive. My buddy Mike got the original version, and I just missed out on it because I was waiting in an autograph line, most likely. And those things sold out real quick. But I'll take this like foil Mexican edition. So I thought that was really cool. I think I got this one off Alex the Comic Order, actually. I just threw it in a stack. Maybe I highlighted it when I got it. I can't remember. But Marvel Superheroes presents Dr. Doom. Had to have this one because, you know, my boy Doom. Here is another copy. Not so good copy of Uncanny X-Men 266. This may have been the one I got in like, it was like a random thing my local shop had going on. Which maybe it's not actually. Because either way, this thing is all beat up, so it's a lower grade copy. There is one, I think this might have been the one I bought for like, I don't know, $4, and it might be worth $4 just because it looks like, you know, someone ran over it. And of course, it's a direct edition. I won't go through the joke again. And then we'll save those two for last. Once again, late silver DC Metal Men #1. Happy to grab that in the collection. We got Usagi Yojimbo #1. Been trying to get a decent copy of this book for a long time, and I did not want to break the bank on it. And luckily, I just happened to get it graded on top of it as a 9.2. And then the same eBay seller actually had this up for auction as well. So I just went ahead and bundled the shipping together. So I got issue 2 at a 9.4. I think they actually were selling this at a 9.4 as well, but that auction had a lot more attention than the 9.2, obviously. So I went with a cheaper option just because I didn't need this in a 9.6, 9.8, or basically even a 9.4. Then the last two, we got X-Men number 94. It's partially the reason why I started wanting to read the Claremont stuff, because I finally got this issue. I did pay for it. It was 3 figures, but not too much over that, luckily. So I've been trying and scraping the barrel, trying to get a good affordable copy of this that I didn't want to pay like $300, $400, $500 plus for. So happy to get that in the collection and not break the bank. And then the last one, I kind of not really broke the bank, but I did pay a little bit of money for this. Avengers number 4, Cap joins the Avengers. For the price I got it for, I would have kicked myself if I didn't take advantage of it. I feel like, kind of when I bought my Hulk 181, I was just like, well, if I don't buy it now, I will never see it at that price, probably ever again. So I kind of had the same thought process on this, even though the 181 price sells for a lot more than this in this condition. But nonetheless, happy to get an Avengers 4 in the collection. And I think that's pretty much it for the comics. We'll go over the chat, and I think I got one more announcement, and then we'll call it a night here. So Chris Barrett says, I don't think we have enough air miles to get to Chicago. I need to drink a lot more beers to get there. And Hot Diggity, Daffodil. Those are some sexy Golden Age books. Yeah. All right. So last announcement I got. I'm going to try to do these a little bit more weekly again, because like I said, I do got a lot of books to show. I keep picking things up. Anyway, we got J Hood Comics. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut myself off, but I did want to say hi to J Hood before I kind of wrap things up and sign things off. He says, great pickups. Thank you very much. He says, Chris Barrett says, is the gang getting back together? Sort of. So not only am I going to try to do, a little bit of a haul each week here. I don't know if Tuesday's going to be the day again. I just happen to have a thumbnail that I could recycle for tonight's show. So that made me very happy. Are the regulators writing one last time? So I guess the other announcement, I tried to send a few messages out today. We're going to try to do Modern Men again. So Modern Men will hopefully be coming back next week, if not the week after. We're going to try to do a recorded format. So far, I got German Chu on board. And then hopefully JB at Discovery Bay Comics will be there. And then, we'll see who else joins. But Comic Man Indy, if you're out there, hope you're doing well, man. You're always welcome on the Modern Men show. And then Comics Misexplained, I think he's going to try to hop in for a few episodes as well. And then there might be a legendary character from the Comic Corps who said he may be interested in being on an episode or two. Scott Evans says, yay, loved Modern Men. Yeah, me too. I mean, if I could pick one thing from my previous YouTube videos that I could say I'm pretty proud of, I would say that whole run. I think we did 76 episodes of Modern Men or something like that. So quite the playlist of, reading and all that stuff. So we're going to try to do a little bit of a reboot on Modern Men. It's probably going to be on my channel here sometime next week. So I guess, just look out on my channel. I'll probably post it on Instagram as well. Because I don't even know how to sign into the Comic Corps stuff anymore. So slowly getting the band back together, yes. So we'll probably start it here, see what happens if there's interest in the Modern Men product after that. I figure at least that way it's a good excuse to try to read something each week. And, I know, talking to the other guys are kind of in the same boat as me. Just sometimes just need that little kick in the butt to get your stuff read that you already have. So look out in the upcoming weeks on this channel for Modern Men to come back. I think we might be reading. It's, actually pretty timely that I found this book in the collection today, and it was on top of a pile. So I believe we're going to be starting with Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. We're going to start with this run just because it's very timely with all of the James Gunn DCU stuff going on. And this is one of the first books they announced that we're going to be part of their movie line. So we'll probably have a little bit of a chat about what we would like to see come out of the new DC cinematic universe. And then we're going to read and review some Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. So hopefully we'll see you guys at that point when that episode comes out. We'll probably start with recorded format until we can all get on the same page. But at least the comic calls and stuff, I want to at least hang out with you guys. So we'll keep that live. But Modern Men will probably be a recorded format for the time being. So we'll see. Maybe we can get some. Yeah, Scott Evans. That's right. You did try to read along with us. That's awesome, man. He says I'll have to get to reading. But yeah, I know you guys like interacting with, the Comic Corps guys as well. So maybe we'll try to do a live something or other down the line too. But nonetheless, big thanks to everybody who hopped in, joined, said hi. Definitely, if you didn't get a chance to watch this live, you're still watching it on the rewind for a reason. Feel free to leave a comment. Even if you have feedback on the Moderman stuff, like what do you want to see us read on Moderman? Like, wait till this video ends and put it in the comment section, so that way I can start to make that backlog and all that stuff. So thank you so much, guys. Hopefully, we will see you very soon. Until next time, newsstand.